Hello, I'm Alexander Banks, and I've been able to walk since I was a toddler.
Hello, I'm Madeline. I can't remember my first memory.
This is the very first episode of Something to Talk About.
This week we'll be discussing first things.
I'm gonna catch you, bitch!
I literally can't think of any time I ever came first in my life.
Well, I've never
But I
been
don't think
first.
I have.
I was a prefect in primary school. And,
Prefect in primary school?
Primary school.
Oh my god, that's high achieving.
I think that they only made me prefect to make me feel better. I was there for 2 years,
It's
right?
just a sympathy prefect.
Yeah, I was a sympathy prefect. In my first year, I didn't speak to anyone. I had like 2 friends. I didn't like anybody else. But because I kept my head down and I also wasn't a terrible student, they decided to make me a prefect. And it did actually improve my mood. I was like, yeah, I'm a prefect, I'm so proud. This was before I was anti-establishment and hated everybody. We had like a prize-giving ceremony at the end of every school year, and I was really, really bad that year. And the teacher that was reading the prizes didn't like me at all. I still had to go because they had to thank me for being a prefect. It was like tradition. I hadn't achieved anything else. So every other student that came up, even if they hadn't done anything else with their year, she would make up something like, oh, for improvement in reading, or, you know, something like that. But because she didn't like me, when she called up my name, she literally just went, and Alexander for being a prefect. And that was it.
What
It was, yeah, she was
Oh my
horrible.
God.
She had high blood pressure as well, so, you know, that probably didn't help her mood.
You should have put salt in her tea, done like frogs in the bed, you know. I was just assuming South Africa's like that.
Yeah, it is.
You know, you're like living together, like
Yeah, in a kibbutz.
I've been the best, but I've never been first. You know, this body's not built for running.
No.
Oh, maybe swimming. Maybe swimming. Maybe I like won a race or 2. I was quite fast, but it's because I was bigger than all the other children, because I'm like a giant. So I would
So you reached the
yeah,
end
I
of
could just
swimming
touch
pool
it.
first.
I was just like, well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna win this one. No, I just have really long legs who are like really like big, like powerful thighs, just like kicking really quickly. Ugh!
That's so sexy.
I was like 7. It's a bit weird.
I have no positive experiences with sports at all. In South Africa, you have to do a sport, right?
It's disgusting.
We had a sports day in the middle of every year, and the first time I went, the only thing I took part in was shot put. And I wasn't very good.
Do you have like egg and spoon races in South Africa?
No,
Is that a
no,
thing?
it was like proper sports,
Or
not
like-
kiddie sports, not fun stuff. It was basically anything that you see at the Olympics. Well, that's
But with children.
With children, like long
Wow,
jump.
so high achieving.
It was horrible. Long jump, javelin, shot put, hurdles.
Javelin must have been fun.
No, I never took part in javelin. Because do you know how hard it is to throw a javelin?
I can imagine that's a big bit of wood.
Yes. Yes, it is. And not the fun kind. Certain things are better the first time you do them, as opposed to when you do them again. Opioids, you know, heroin is never the same twice. Also, losing a limb, it only gets easier after the first one.
This is true. So if you want the full impact, you've got to do it first time differently.
Also, diffusing your hair. So,
I would not know anything about this.
I diffuse my hair every day.
Like the
it's
hairdryer
that
attachment, the massive one.
yeah, with the pins.
What does it do?
It basically, when curly hair dries, normally, it frizzes a lot because of just the general atmospheric pressure. But when you diffuse it, it gets rid of the frizz. So when you add like product and you diffuse, it's like the best type of hair. However, it never diffuses the same twice. When you diffuse your hair for the first time, you're like, oh, volume! I think you only turn to diffusing when you reach a point where you're like, oh my god, my hair is just not doing what I want it to do. Could someone please either kill me or shave me?
I would not know. My hair is
Naturally perfect.
flawless.
Have you ever travelled first class?
Yes, on trains. Does that count? I mean, it's a train, so it's
that never
shit.
counts. That never counts. What is the point of first class in a train?
You get a free tea. Get slightly bigger seats. You used to get plugs, but now they all have plugs, so like you used to be the only ones with plugs. Late on a Friday, you don't want to get like the last train from London on a Friday night, that's horrible. So I get first class then, because all the drunk people kind of stay in like the Povo bit.
That's true.
But then there's no one to like work the first class carriage, like no one to like deliver the drinks.
Yeah.
So they just leave boxes of snacks.
Really?
Just take them. Not like the whole box, but you can like fill your bag with like fancy crisps.
Should you be the first to arrive at a party?
Absolutely not.
No.
Especially not if you're hosting. I think it's really important to arrive.
If you're hosting,
Well, you know what I mean.
you're there automatically.
Yeah, don't be there early. Don't be there early.
I like to arrive dead on time.
You're the worst person for that though. Like you do always get there. Party's the only time where I'll be late. Normally I'm at least 5 minutes early.
Yeah.
But I'll have been there for 20 minutes, like hiding in the toilet, like waiting to be like acceptably early. Not in your house. Like, I'm talking about job interviews and
Like
stuff.
just
If I
okay,
meet someone
fine.
at a cafe, like, I'll be outside and then I'll go in. But
See,
like,
job interviews though, I always feel like there's a pressure that if you don't arrive early, it's like, oh, so you're not going to be overachieving.
oh yeah, it's like they're testing you.
Do you know, I don't think I've ever sent anything first class.
Do you
in my
not
life.
post things?
Very rarely. Like, do you know, I so rarely post things. When I go to the post office, I actually have to go to like an assistant and say, have I done this right? Because I honestly, I do it so seldom that I can't remember if I've done everything. And I don't trust the postal system. I 100%
Yeah, a lot of my
don't
things
trust
have
it.
got lost.
Aren't you always surprised to find out that they do like Wi-Fi and bank accounts and
Yeah,
Right,
yeah. When
how
I'm like
weird
doing
is
like
that?
when I'm on Compare the Market, like doing my bills,
Yeah.
and I'm like, wait, you can Royal Mail? Like,
right?
What?
Yeah.
Like insurance.
It's so weird.
No, I nearly always post first class because I forget for like birthdays and like Christmas.
Oh,
and
so you
I'm like,
want to faster.
like the only way this is gonna get on time is first class. So I just always all my stamps are first class.
First impressions.
I thought you were a drug dealer.
Did you?
You were bald.
Oh yeah, I was.
He used to shave his head, and
Yeah.
I thought you were really hot. I was like,
Thank you.
would. But also was like, not gonna go near him, probably gonna stab me. You also wore the hoodie all the time.
I only owned
And you never
hoodies.
spoke.
I only owned hoodies. I didn't speak to anyone because I didn't want anyone to hear my South African accent.
You don't
at
have
the
an
time.
accent.
I did at the time though. I did. I would just pretend. I would pretend to speak like Stephen Fry. Yeah. And then
You're
the
just
one.
putting on the English accent.
Well, not anymore. I don't do it anymore because I taught myself out of my South African accent. They used to come to me and they used to say, why does your sister have a South African accent but you sound so posh? I adapted to my surroundings.
Like a chameleon.
And like a chameleon. My first impression of you, I knew immediately that you were artsy. The theatre that we volunteered at, whenever they did like a wardrobe sale, you would go and buy some stuff that was alright to wear, but you literally, they were theatre costumes. And you used to wear them to
No,
college.
I never wore theatre costumes. I wore weird vintage
Okay, maybe it was turned into a theatre costume, but I 100% remember you wearing a dress that would not have ever been appropriate anywhere besides on stage.
You talking about the really flowery red, like orange and red one?
Yes!
Like floor
Yeah,
length.
yeah.
Awful, like red satin trim.
Yeah. It was
Terrible. I found it the other day and my mum wouldn't let me burn it.
the first time I met my mum, I loved her.
I mean, I felt but so about it.
Yeah. I mean, I think it differs from person to person. Also, siblings. Siblings are always worse when they first come around. When my brother was born, I was like, fine, it's just a brother. You know, it's like fine. It's exciting, it's a new addition, I'll get to know him later. My parents called me and my sister into the lounge one day and they had a whole conversation with us about how they still loved us. And at the
I mean, if anything's gonna make you doubt your parents love you, it's them
It's
telling
telling
you
them.
that they still
Right.
love you. It's
Exactly.
okay.
When I was in high school, I was severely depressed and sad all the time. People literally used to say that their first impression of me was like an energy-sucking vampire. I honest to God, I had 2 people say that to me.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and it was because I hadn't yet learned how to internalize my sadness and my anger. So
You
I
was
just
projecting,
I did,
like,
yeah.
depression.
I would walk into a room and the mood would go down. It was bad. Now though, people's first impression of me is I'm nice. This is the thing that. No, this is before people get to know me. So
Yeah.
you know.
Just like when they first see you, they're like, oh, he looks nice, and you start speaking, they're like,
Yeah.
oh.
Wow. I recently started a new job and people, the first thing they noticed about me was how nice I was.
You're very nice. You know, you dress well, you look pretty. You're very nice.
And so kind and intelligent and single.
So do you like no first aid?
No, I don't at all. I was always semi-attracted to the plastic mannequins. They always had very in-shape mannequins.
Like they had abs, but also like no limbs.
Yeah.
Their mouths like perennially open. Oh, I get it.
Right, yeah. Do you know first aid?
I do actually.
Yeah,
I
you-
have a
you
certificate.
to, don't you?
No, I'm just a swab. I like
Oh,
learning things.
you're just a
I
good
like,
person.
Yeah, it's helpful for my job. When
Yeah.
someone, cuts their finger off, I know that they have to go to hospital.
I would have been like, oh, let me get a plaster.
Yeah,
I'll just
yeah,
get a
it's my
plaster.
training that tells me that. I know that you have to call 999 for that. How many nines?
Yeah. 999.
999.
People try to teach me first aid. Like my mum always wanted me to go on a first aid course, but I just don't care enough. I don't know how to actually do the Heimlich. So
I know that
would
you
just,
can do
like,
it on yourself, like on the back of a chair, but that's what I know.
If I saw someone do that, like if someone was choking and they literally just fell onto the chair, I would laugh myself
You
to
are.
death.
This is why no one thinks. Well, we don't think you're nice. Once you
Yeah,
get to know
no,
you,
once you get to know
you're a
me,
terrible
I'm a
person.
horrible person.
My biggest fear is choking to death alone in my house. I don't want to die that way, so I want to go out with
Foods that you don't eat as a child like avocado, mushrooms,
Oh,
olives.
God. First thing I ever ate as a child, like first solid food ever, olives and a whole lemon from my mum's gin and tonic.
Was that your first solid?
First solid
That
food,
you ate?
olives,
How old were you?
like 2,
Oh my
3,
god.
4.
My mum made this dish with like cream and cream of mushroom soup and mushrooms toasted in the oven.
It's amazing.
I mean, I don't eat steak, but I ate steak just so that I could have that as a sauce. Well, thank you for watching, and thank you for joining us on this journey. Remember, there's a first time for everything, even murder. Don't let what other people think stop you from doing what you love.
And don't forget that it's not always about finishing first, it's about the journey.
Don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss it.
Goodbye.
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 Goodbye now.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye now.